Dr. Maya Sharma stared at the cream-colored envelope on her desk. It had been sitting there for 3 days now, unopened among the piles of medical journals and patient files. Her name was written in beautiful gold calligraphy on the front. Maya knew exactly what it was, a wedding invitation from her old friend Rohan. Maya and Rohan had been close during their medical school days. They had studied together late into the night, supported each other through difficult exams, and celebrated their successes together. But after graduation 5 years ago, their paths had separated. Rohan went to work in a small community hospital, while Maya pursued her career as a trauma surgeon in a busy city hospital. The last time Maya had heard from Rohan was almost a year ago. He had called to tell her about meeting someone special, a woman named Aisha. Rohan had sounded happier than Maya had ever heard him. Now, he was getting married. With a sigh, Maya finally opened the envelope. The invitation was beautiful, with Rohan and Aisha's names printed in gold letters. The wedding was happening in just 2 weeks. Maya checked her schedule. She was supposed to be on call that weekend, but maybe she could ask Dr. Kapoor to switch shifts with her. I should go, Maya said to herself. Despite the years of distance, Rohan had been an important part of her life, and she was curious to meet the woman who had captured his heart. The next day, Maya called Dr. Kapoor, who agreed to cover her shift. She then sent her RSVP to Rohan, confirming her attendance. A few hours later, her phone pinged with a message from him. "Can't believe you're coming. It's been too long. Aisha is excited to meet you." Maya smiled at his enthusiasm. It would be good to see him again. She began to look forward to the wedding. The next 2 weeks passed quickly. Maya was busy with her patients and surgeries. The night before the wedding, she packed a simple blue dress in her overnight bag. The wedding was taking place in a small town about 2 hours from the city. Maya planned to drive there early in the morning. As she drove, Maya thought about Rohan. They had been such good friends once. She wondered what his fiancée Aisha was like. Rohan had mentioned that she was a kindergarten teacher who loved children. They had met when Aisha brought one of her students to the hospital after a playground accident. When Maya arrived at the hotel where the wedding was taking place, she was greeted by the sight of colorful flowers and decorations. She checked into her room, changed into her dress, and headed to the garden where the ceremony would be held. The garden was beautiful, with rows of white chairs set up facing a flower-covered arch. Maya found a seat near the back. She didn't recognize many of the guests and felt a little out of place. Then she saw Rohan. He was standing at the front, looking nervous but happy in his formal suit. Their eyes met across the garden, and his face broke into a wide smile. He waved enthusiastically. Maya waved back, feeling a rush of affection for her old friend. As the music started and everyone stood up, Maya turned to see the bride for the first time. Aisha was walking slowly down the aisle, looking beautiful in a white wedding dress. But as Maya watched her with a doctor's trained eye, she noticed something odd. Aisha's walk seemed unsteady, her smile looked forced, almost as if she was in pain. Maya frowned slightly. Something didn't seem right. And as a doctor, Maya couldn't ignore the signs that were right in front of her. Maya watched carefully as Aisha made her way down the aisle. Most guests saw only a beautiful bride in a stunning white dress, but Maya's medical training showed her something different. Aisha's face was unusually pale beneath her makeup. Every few steps, a tiny wince crossed her features, quickly hidden behind a smile. Her right hand gripped her bouquet tightly, while her left occasionally pressed against her side. When Aisha finally reached Rohan at the altar, Maya noticed small beads of sweat on her forehead despite the mild temperature in the garden. As the ceremony began, Maya tried to focus on the beautiful words being spoken, but her mind kept returning to Aisha's symptoms. Could it be appendicitis? Food poisoning? Maya thought to herself, maybe it's just wedding nerves. After the ceremony, guests moved to the reception hall for dinner and dancing. Maya stood in line to congratulate the newlyweds. When her turn came, Rohan pulled her into a warm hug. "Maya, I can't believe you're actually here," he said with a genuine smile. "It's been too long." "I wouldn't have missed it," Maya replied, returning his smile. "Congratulations, Rohan." Turning to Aisha, Maya extended her hand. "It's wonderful to meet you, Aisha. Rohan has told me such great things about you." Aisha smiled, but Maya noticed how she shifted her weight to one side as they shook hands. Her palm felt clammy. Rowan talks about you all the time, Aisha said. His brilliant friend from medical school. I'm glad you could come. Maya hesitated, then asked casually, Are you feeling all right? The excitement of the day can be overwhelming. A flash of surprise crossed Aisha's face. I'm fine, she replied quickly. Just a little tired from all the planning. Rowan, busy greeting other guests, didn't notice the exchange. Maya nodded and moved on, but kept an eye on Aisha throughout the evening. During dinner, Maya was seated at a table with other friends from medical school. They caught up on each other's lives and shared memories, but Maya's attention kept drifting to the head table where Aisha had barely touched her food. Twice, Aisha excused herself from the table. Each time she returned, she looked worse than before. Does anyone know if Aisha has health problems? Maya asked her tablemates quietly. Dr. Vivek, another classmate, shook his head. Not that I know of. Why do you ask? Just wondering, Maya replied. She didn't want to raise unnecessary concerns at a wedding. When the dancing started, Robin led Aisha up to the floor for their first dance. They moved gracefully together, but halfway through the song, Aisha stumbled slightly. Rowan caught her, laughing it off to the watching guests, but Maya saw the moment of real pain that crossed Aisha's face. As the evening progressed, Maya noticed Aisha speaking with her mother in a corner, looking worried. She then saw Aisha take 2 pills from a small purse she carried. Pain medication, Maya thought. Something is definitely wrong. When Aisha slipped out of the reception hall again, Maya decided to follow her. In the hallway, she saw Aisha leaning against the wall, eyes closed, breathing heavily. Aisha? Maya approached her carefully. I don't mean to intrude, but as a doctor, I'm concerned. You're showing signs of being in significant pain. Aisha opened her eyes, looking embarrassed. Please don't tell Roman. I don't want to ruin our wedding day. What's going on? Maya asked gently. Aisha hesitated, then whispered, My stomach has been hurting badly since yesterday. I thought it was just stress, but it's getting worse. Maya's doctor instincts went on full alert. May I ask where exactly the pain is? Aisha placed her hand on the lower right side of her abdomen, exactly where Maya feared the problem might be. How long has the pain been there? Maya asked, her voice calm but serious. She gently touched Aisha's forehead with the back of her hand. You're running a fever too. Aisha looked around nervously, making sure no one else was in the hallway. It started 2 days ago, but it was just a dull ache then. I thought it was just wedding stress. She winced again, her hand pressing harder against her side. It got much worse this morning, but I couldn't postpone the wedding. Everything was arranged. All the guests had come from so far away. Maya frowned. The symptoms were pointing toward something potentially serious. Aisha, I need to examine you properly. Is there a private room we can use? Aisha nodded weakly. There's a bridal suite upstairs where I got ready earlier. Maya helped Aisha walk toward the elevator, trying to look casual in case they passed any guests. Fortunately, most people were still enjoying the reception, dancing and drinking. The elevator ride was silent, with Aisha leaning against the wall, her eyes closed in pain. The bridal suite was large and elegant, with Aisha's things still scattered around, makeup, hair accessories, and a small overnight bag. Maya helped Aisha sit on a small sofa. I should tell Rohan, Aisha said suddenly. They'll be looking for me. Let me check you first, Maya replied. Then we'll decide what to do next. She took out her phone. I'm going to call a friend at the hospital to get some advice too. While dialing, Maya asked more questions. Have you been nauseous? Vomiting? Aisha nodded. This morning, I thought it was just nerves. Maya's friend, Dr. Patel, answered her call. After explaining the situation briefly, Maya put her phone on speaker and began a basic examination. Can you lie down on the sofa? Maya asked Aisha. When she was settled, Maya asked permission to examine her abdomen. I need to press on different areas to check where the pain is worst. Aisha nodded, her face pale and sweaty. The beautiful wedding dress made the examination difficult. I might need to lift your dress a little to examine you properly, Maya explained. That's fine, Aisha whispered. Just please help me. The pain is getting worse. Carefully, Maya lifted the layers of white satin and lace. What she saw made her gasp in shock. The skin on Aisha's lower right abdomen was red and swollen. When Maya gently pressed there, Aisha cried out in pain. Dr. Patel, I'm seeing significant rebound tenderness in the right lower quadrant, with visible inflammation and swelling. Temperature is elevated, Maya reported into the phone. Classic appendicitis, Dr. Patel replied immediately. From what you're describing, it's likely the appendix is close to rupturing. She needs to get to a hospital immediately. Maya thanked her colleague and ended the call. She looked at Aisha with serious eyes. Aisha, you have appendicitis. It's quite advanced, and we need to get you to a hospital right away. If your appendix ruptures, it could cause a dangerous infection throughout your abdomen. Tears filled Aisha's eyes. But the wedding reception, our guests, our first night as husband and wife. Maya took Aisha's hand. I know this is terrible timing, but your health comes first. This is a medical emergency. Just then, the door to the bridal suite opened and Rohan walked in. His smile quickly disappeared when he saw Aisha lying on the sofa with Maya beside her, the wedding dress lifted to reveal the inflamed skin. What's happening? He asked, rushing to Aisha's side. Are you sick? Why didn't you tell me? She has appendicitis, Maya explained quickly. She needs surgery right away. Rohan's medical training kicked in immediately. All thoughts of the wedding celebration vanished as he focused on Aisha's condition. I'll get the car. Maya, can you help her downstairs? I'll tell our parents what's happening. As Rohan hurried out, Aisha grabbed Maya's hand tightly. Thank you, she whispered. I was trying to be strong, but I was so scared. Maya squeezed her hand back. That's what doctors are for, even at weddings. Now let's get you to the hospital before that appendix decides to crash your honeymoon. The wedding guests watched in confusion as Rohan rushed through the reception hall, speaking urgently to his parents and Aisha's family. Whispers spread quickly among the tables. Something was wrong with the bride. Upstairs in the bridal suite, Maya helped Aisha change out of her wedding dress. The beautiful white gown that had taken months to select was carefully laid across a chair, replaced by a simple cotton dress that would be easier to manage at the hospital. I can't believe this is happening, Aisha said, her voice weak with pain. Everyone will be so disappointed. They'll understand, Maya assured her as she gathered Aisha's essential belongings. Your health is what matters most right now. Aisha suddenly doubled over, a sharp cry escaping her lips. The pain is getting worse, she gasped. Maya checked her watch with concern. The color draining from Aisha's face and the increasing intensity of pain suggested the appendix might be close to rupturing. They needed to move quickly. Can you walk? Maya asked, supporting Aisha's arm. Aisha nodded bravely, though her legs trembled beneath her. The two women made their way slowly to the elevator. Maya kept one arm firmly around Aisha's waist, feeling how the bride leaned more heavily against her with each step. When the elevator doors opened on the ground floor, they found Rohan waiting with his father and Aisha's parents. The older adults looked worried and confused. The car is ready, Rohan said, rushing forward to take Aisha's other arm. The nearest hospital is 20 minutes away. Aisha's mother stepped forward, tears in her eyes. My poor girl. Why didn't you say something earlier? I didn't want to ruin everything, Aisha whispered, her face contorted with pain. I'm so sorry. Don't be silly, her father said gruffly, though his eyes were wet. Nothing is more important than your health. As they helped Aisha toward the exit, they passed through a corner of the reception hall. Many guests turned to stare, surprised to see the bride looking so ill, supported between Rohan and Maya. The music continued to play, but the celebration atmosphere had dimmed as word spread that something was wrong. Aisha's cousin Priya, who was also her maid of honor, rushed over. What can I do to help? She asked urgently. Please explain to the guests what's happening, Rohan replied. Tell them Aisha needs medical attention and we're very sorry, but we have to go to the hospital. Priya nodded. Don't worry about anything here. Just take care of Aisha. They finally reached Rohan's car, which he had pulled up to the hotel's side entrance to avoid more curious stares. Maya helped Aisha into the back seat and climbed in beside her, wanting to monitor her condition during the drive. Rohan took the driver's seat, while their parents stayed behind to help manage the situation with the guests. As Rohan pulled away from the hotel, Maya noticed Aisha becoming increasingly pale and disoriented. She was showing signs of worsening infection and possibly the beginnings of septic shock. "Rowan, we need to get there faster," Maya called to the front seat. "Her condition is deteriorating." Rowan pressed harder on the accelerator, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. The country roads were dark and winding, making fast driving dangerous. Yet they had no choice. "Stay with us, Aisha," Maya said firmly, holding the bride's clammy hand. "Focus on my voice. Tell me about how you and Rowan met." Aisha's eyes fluttered open. "The hospital," she whispered. "A little boy from my kindergarten class fell and broke his arm. Rowan was the doctor on duty." "That's right," Maya encouraged, trying to keep Aisha conscious and talking. "And what happened next?" "He was so kind to the boy," Aisha said, a faint smile crossing her pain-filled face. "Make him laugh even while setting the cast. I thought I'd never met anyone so gentle." Rowan glanced back quickly, his eyes meeting Aisha's in the rearview mirror. "Save your strength, love," he said, his voice tight with worry. "We're almost there." The hospital lights appeared in the distance, a beacon of hope in the dark night. Maya checked Aisha's pulse again, rapid and weak. They were running out of time, but they were almost there. The hospital emergency room was quiet when they arrived, a rare stroke of luck. Rowan screeched to a halt in front of the entrance and jumped out to get help. Within moments, 2 nurses appeared with a wheelchair. Maya quickly explained the situation as they helped Aisha from the car. Suspected acute appendicitis, symptoms for approximately 48 hours, significant pain and fever, possible impending rupture, Maya reported in clear, professional terms. The emergency staff responded immediately to her medical assessment. As they wheeled Aisha through the sliding doors, she reached out weakly for Rowan's hand. "I'm sorry about our wedding night," she whispered. Despite her condition, her main concern was still for him and their special day. Rowan squeezed her hand gently. "We'll have plenty of wedding nights," he promised. "Getting you better is all that matters now." The emergency room doctor, a middle-aged woman named Dr. Verma, quickly examined Aisha. She pressed on different parts of Aisha's abdomen, noting where the pain was most severe. With each touch near the appendix area, Aisha winced sharply. "Blood pressure is 90/60 and dropping," a nurse announced, looking at the monitors. "Pulse is 120 and temperature is 39.2 degrees Celsius. Dr. Verma frowned at these readings. "We need to get her to surgery immediately," she said. "Her appendix is likely perforating, or has already perforated. Let's get blood work and start IV antibiotics right away, but we can't wait for results." Maya stood back, allowing the hospital staff to do their work, but ready to provide any information they needed. Rowan stayed by Aisha's side, his face tense with worry as he watched the medical team prepare his bride for emergency surgery. "Are you the husband?" Dr. Verma asked Rohan. "Yes," he replied. "We just got married today. I'm also a doctor at Community Hospital." Dr. Verma nodded with understanding. "We need your consent for emergency surgery," she said, handing him a form. "I'm calling our best surgeon down immediately." As Rowan signed the papers, Aisha's condition suddenly worsened. The monitor showed her blood pressure dropping further, and her face had taken on a gray pallor. She was beginning to shake with chills. "She's going into septic shock," Maya said, moving forward instinctively. "The appendix has likely ruptured." The room erupted into urgent activity. Dr. Verma called out orders for additional medications and fluids. Nurses worked quickly to prepare Aisha for immediate transport to the operating room. Team 2 is ready and waiting, called a staff member from the doorway. As they prepared to move Aisha, she suddenly gripped Rowan's hand with surprising strength. "If anything happens to me," she whispered urgently, "know that today was still the happiest day of my life." "Nothing is going to happen to you," Rowan insisted, his voice breaking slightly. "I'll see you soon. I love you." Maya put her hand on Rowan's shoulder as the team wheeled Aisha away toward the operating room. For a moment, they stood in silence, watching the doors close behind her. "This is my fault," Rowan said suddenly. "I'm a doctor. I should have noticed something was wrong." Maya shook her head firmly. She was hiding it deliberately. "Even I only noticed because I happened to be watching her carefully." "Why would she hide something so serious?" Rowan asked, sinking into a chair in the waiting area, his wedding suit wrinkled and his tie hanging loose around his neck. Because she loves you, Maya said simply. She didn't want to ruin your wedding day. Rowan buried his face in his hands. All the joy and celebration of the day had transformed into fear and uncertainty in just a few hours. Their honeymoon suite at the hotel would remain empty tonight. Instead, they would spend their wedding night in a hospital waiting room, hoping for good news. The hospital clock ticked loudly on the wall as Maya sat beside her old friend. There was nothing to do now but wait and hope that Aisha had gotten to surgery in time, before infection could spread throughout her body. She's young and strong, Maya reminded Rohan, and she got here in time. She's going to be okay. Rohan looked up at Maya, his eyes filled with gratitude. If you hadn't been at our wedding, he couldn't finish the sentence. Maya simply nodded, understanding the weight of what might have happened if she hadn't noticed Aisha's symptoms. The minutes stretched into hours as Rohan and Maya waited for news about Aisha. The bright fluorescent lights of the hospital waiting room cast harsh shadows on their faces. Rohan checked his watch repeatedly, running his fingers through his hair until it stood up in untidy spikes. The surgery should be finishing soon, Maya said, trying to sound reassuring. She had bought them both coffee from a vending machine, but the cups sat untouched, growing cold. Around midnight, Aisha's parents arrived at the hospital, their faces lined with worry. They had stayed behind at the wedding to explain the situation to guests and organize the cleanup. Now they rushed to Rowan, desperate for information. How is she? Any news? Aisha's mother asked, clutching her husband's arm for support. She's still in surgery, Rowan answered, standing to greet them. The doctor said they would update us as soon as possible. Aisha's father looked at his watch. 3 hours already, he mumbled. Is that normal? Maya stepped forward. If the appendix ruptured, they would need extra time to clean the infection from her abdomen. It's good that they're being thorough. Just as she finished speaking, the doors to the surgical area opened. Dr. Singh, the surgeon, walked toward them in blue scrubs. His face looked tired but relieved. Everyone stood up, holding their breath. The surgery was successful, Dr. Singh announced. We removed the appendix, which had indeed ruptured. There was significant infection in the abdominal cavity, but we were able to clean it thoroughly. A collective sigh of relief filled the small waiting area. Aisha's mother began to cry softly. When can we see her? Rowan asked, his voice hoarse with emotion. She's in recovery now, Dr. Singh explained. She'll be moved to a room in about an hour. She'll need to stay in the hospital for at least 5 days for IV antibiotics and monitoring. Rohan nodded, understanding the medical necessity. Can I stay with her tonight? Of course, the surgeon replied with a kind smile. Not exactly the wedding night you planned, I imagine. Despite everything, Rowan managed a small laugh. As long as she's okay, nothing else matters. Dr. Singh turned to Maya. Are you also a doctor? The emergency team mentioned your quick diagnosis probably saved her from a much worse outcome. Maya nodded modestly. I'm a trauma surgeon in the city. I was just at their wedding and noticed something wasn't right. Good thing you were there, Dr. Singh said. Another few hours and this could have been a very different conversation. As they waited for Aisha to be moved to her room, Maya noticed how exhausted everyone looked. The date had started with such joy and celebration, only to end in a hospital waiting room. Yet there was also a feeling of gratitude that Aisha would recover. Finally, a nurse came to guide them to Aisha's room. She's still very groggy from anesthesia, the nurse warned. Try not to stay too long. She needs rest. When they entered the room, Aisha lay pale against the white hospital sheets, an IV line in her arm and monitors beeping steadily beside her. Her eyes fluttered open when she heard them, focusing first on Rohan. Some honeymoon, huh? She whispered weakly, attempting a smile. Rowan moved quickly to her side, taking her hand gently in his. The best, he answered, his voice thick with emotion, because you're going to be okay. Aisha's eyes drifted to Maya, standing behind Rohan. You saved me, she said simply. Thank you. Maya smiled at the bride, now a patient. That's what friends are for, she replied. Even ones you just met. As Aisha's eyes began to close again, overtaken by medication and exhaustion, Rowan leaned down to kiss her forehead gently. Rest now, he whispered. I'll be right here when you wake up. Outside in the hallway, Maya decided it was time for her to leave. This moment belonged to the newlyweds and their family. Her role in their story had been unexpected but crucial. As she gathered her things to go, she knew that sometimes the most important wedding gifts can't be wrapped in pretty paper. 3 days after the wedding, Maya returned to the hospital to visit Aisha. She carried a small bouquet of flowers and a card signed by all the medical school friends who had attended the wedding. The hospital corridor was quiet as she made her way to Aisha's room. She found Aisha sitting up in bed, looking much better than on the wedding night. Some color had returned to her cheeks, and she was talking animatedly with Rowan, who sat in a chair beside her bed. A half-eaten lunch tray sat on the table, showing that her appetite was returning. "Maya," Aisha called out when she saw her. "Come in, it's so good to see you." Maya smiled and entered the room, placing the flowers on the bedside table. "You look 1,000 times better than the last time I saw you." "I feel 1,000 times better too," Aisha replied. "The doctors say I'm recovering faster than expected." Rowan stood and gave Maya a quick hug. "I can't thank you enough," he said quietly. "Dr. Singh said if we had waited even a few more hours." He didn't finish the sentence, but he didn't need to. Maya waved away his thanks. "Anyone would have done the same." "No," Aisha said firmly. "Most people would have just thought I was having wedding jitters or maybe too much champagne. You saw what others missed." The three of them talked for nearly an hour. Rowan explained that the wedding guests had been very understanding about the abrupt end to the celebration. Many had sent flowers and get-well messages to Aisha. "We're thinking of having a small reception once I'm fully recovered," Aisha said. "Nothing fancy, just a chance to thank everyone for their support and maybe have that first dance we missed." Maya thought this was a wonderful idea, "and this time you'll be able to enjoy it without being in terrible pain," she pointed out. A nurse came in to check Aisha's vital signs and change her IV bag. "Your numbers are looking good," she told Aisha. "If you continue improving like this, you might be able to go home in a couple of days." After the nurse left, Aisha turned to Maya with curiosity in her eyes. "Rowan tells me you're one of the top trauma surgeons in the city now. Is it as exciting as it sounds?" Maya smiled. "Exciting is one word for it. Exhausting is another. But I love what I do." "Do you ever think about working somewhere smaller, less hectic?" Rowan asked. "Our community hospital is actually looking for a skilled surgeon." Maya raised her eyebrows, surprised by the question. "I hadn't thought about leaving the city. I'm used to the pace there." "Just something to consider," Rowan said with a small smile. "We could use someone with your skills and instincts." As they continued talking, Maya found herself enjoying their company more than she had expected. She had forgotten how easy it was to talk to Rowan, and she was quickly growing fond of Aisha. "We should all have dinner once I'm out of here," Aisha suggested. "A proper chance to get to know each other without medical emergencies getting in the way." "I'd like that," Maya said sincerely. When visiting hours ended, Maya prepared to leave. At the door, she turned back to look at the couple. Rowan had moved to sit on the edge of Aisha's bed, holding her hand. Despite everything they had been through, they looked happy together. "You know," Maya said thoughtfully, "most people spend their wedding day surrounded by friends and family, making beautiful memories. But your wedding day showed something more important: how much you truly care for each other when things get tough." Aisha smiled at this. "I guess we passed the in sickness and in health part of our vows right away," she said, looking up at Rowan with love in her eyes. As Maya walked out of the hospital into the evening air, she felt something had changed in her own life too. The wedding invitation that had arrived unexpectedly had led to something none of them could have predicted. New beginnings for all of them. 6 months had passed since the dramatic wedding day. On a sunny Saturday afternoon, a small gathering took place in Rowan and Aisha's backyard garden. Colorful lanterns hung from tree branches, and tables covered with white cloths were scattered across the lawn. Music played softly in the background. This was the celebration they had planned after Aisha's recovery, not a replacement for their wedding, but a joyful acknowledgement of new beginnings. Friends and family mingled, enjoying food and drinks while congratulating the couple who had overcome such a challenging start to their marriage. Maya stood near the refreshment table, watching Aisha laugh with her parents. No one would guess that just 6 months ago, she had been fighting a life-threatening infection in a hospital bed. Now she was glowing with health, moving easily among her guests in a simple blue dress. "There you are," Rowan said, appearing at Maya's side with 2 glasses of lemonade. He handed one to her. "Hiding from everyone." Maya smiled, taking the cool glass. "Just observing. It's nice to see everyone so happy, especially Aisha." "Thanks to you," Rowan said seriously. "We haven't forgotten that." "You've thanked me enough," Maya replied. "Besides, I got something valuable too." "Oh," Rowan raised an eyebrow curiously. Maya nodded toward the hospital badge clipped to her purse. It showed her new position at the community hospital where Rowan worked. 3 months ago, she had decided to leave her hectic city job and accept the opening Rowan had mentioned during her hospital visit. "Best decision I've made in years," Maya admitted. "The base is different, but I feel like I'm making more of a difference here." Aisha joined them, slipping her arm through Rohan's. "Are you talking about work?" "Not allowed at our party," she teased. "We were actually talking about how Maya saved your life," Rowan replied. Aisha's expression grew serious. "I have something to show you both," she said. She led them to a quiet corner of the garden and pulled out her phone. "I got this email yesterday. I've been accepted to nursing school." Maya and Rohan both stared at her in surprise. "Nursing school?" Rowan asked. "You never mentioned you were applying." Aisha smiled shyly. "After everything that happened, I started thinking about my life differently. I loved teaching kindergarten, but being in the hospital made me realize I want to help people the way I was helped." Maya felt a rush of pride for this woman she now considered a close friend. "That's wonderful news, Aisha." "It will be challenging," Aisha continued, "working during the day and studying at night. But Rowan supports my decision." "Of course I do," Rowan said, kissing Aisha's cheek, "though I had no idea about the application until now." The three laughed together, their friendship cementing even further with this new shared path. Maya couldn't help thinking how strange life was, how one moment at a wedding had changed all their lives in unexpected ways. "May I have everyone's attention?" Aisha's father called out, tapping his glass. The guests gathered around as he raised a toast. 6 months ago, we thought we had lost our daughter on what should have been the happiest day of her life. Today, we celebrate not just her marriage, but her health and the new friendships that came from that difficult time. Everyone raised their glasses. Maya caught Aisha's eye across the circle of friends, and they shared a special smile. Later, as the sun began to set, Rowan and Aisha finally had their first dance, the one they had missed on their wedding day. Guests formed a circle around them, clapping as they swayed to the music. Maya watched from the side, feeling content. Sometimes lives connect in the most unexpected ways. She had gone to a wedding as a guest and ended up changing the course of 3 lives: Aisha's, Rohan's, and her own. As the music continued and stars appeared in the evening sky, Maya knew that the most beautiful stories don't always have perfect beginnings. Sometimes they start with a crisis, a quick decision, or even a doctor lifting a wedding dress to save a bride's life. But it's where the story goes from there that truly matters.